Thunder cracked across the night sky like the world splitting open. Rain hammered the asphalt in sheets so thick the road disappeared beneath Marcus Johnson's truck tires. His wipers fought a losing battle against the deluge. Ahead through the chaos of water and wind, something glowed orange against the darkness. Fire. His foot hit the brake. The truck hydroplaned before catching traction. He squinted through the windshield. A luxury sedan wrapped around an oak tree, hood crumpled like paper flames licking up from the engine bay. Smoke twisted into the rain. No other cars, no sirens, just him and whoever was inside that metal coffin. Marcus threw the truck into park and bolted into the storm. Rain soaked through his work shirt in seconds. Cold bit through to his skin. He reached the sedan. Inside, a woman slumped against the steering wheel. Black business suit, white shirt, blood on her temple. Her eyes fluttered open as he pounded on the window. Help. Her lips formed the word, but he couldn't hear it over the storm. The door wouldn't budge. Crumpled frame. He looked around. His toolbox. He sprinted back to his truck, grabbed a tire iron, ran back. The window shattered on the third strike. Glass rained into the car. He reached through, fumbled with the seatbelt. It had locked tight from the impact. The woman's breathing came shallow and fast. The fire grew. Orange light reflected in her terrified eyes. His pocket knife. He yanked it out, sawed through the belt. It snapped. She fell toward him. He caught her weight, dragged her through the window. Glass cut his arms. He didn't feel it. Her body was dead weight in his grip. He pulled her clear, lifted her, ran. Behind them, the engine compartment erupted. Flames shot up. Heat washed over his back. He kept running. 20 yards, 30. He laid her on the wet grass. She coughed, gasped. Her whole body shook. He checked her pulse, racing but steady. No major bleeding. Possible concussion. Broken ribs, maybe. The hospital was across town. The storm had flooded half the roads. She needed warmth. Needed someone to watch her. His house was 10 minutes away. The decision made itself. He lifted her again, carried her to his truck, got her into the passenger seat, buckled her in. She mumbled something. Her eyes wouldn't focus. He climbed behind the wheel and drove. The storm showed no signs of letting up. Water rushed through intersections. Tree branches littered the streets. He navigated by memory more than sight. His neighborhood appeared through the rain. Small houses, chain-link fences, cars that had seen better decades. His place sat at the end of a dead-end street. Single story, peeling paint, but it was dry. It was warm. It was home. He parked, carried her inside. Zoe's door was closed. Good. She was sleeping through the storm. He took the woman to his bedroom, the only real bed in the house, laid her down, covered her with his thick blanket. She was still shaking. He grabbed towels from the bathroom, dried her face, her hair, checked her pupils, one slightly dilated, concussion confirmed. She needed to stay awake, but exhaustion was winning. Her eyes closed. He monitored her breathing. Steady. He'd check on her every hour, make sure she didn't slip into something worse. Marcus looked around his room. Tiny, a bed, a dresser, a lamp. Everything he owned fit in this space. The woman lying in his bed wore a suit that probably cost more than his truck. Her watch was platinum. Designer purse on the nightstand. Money. Real money. But none of that mattered when your car was on fire. None of that mattered when you couldn't breathe. He grabbed a pillow from the bed, headed to the living room. The couch would be his bed tonight. It wouldn't be the first time. 24 hours earlier, Marcus had been staring at a stack of bills on that same couch. Rent, utilities, Zoe's school supplies. The numbers didn't add up. They never did. He'd finished 3 jobs that week, fixed a water heater, rewired a garage, patched a roof. The money was already spent before it hit his account. He worked the calculator again, moved numbers around, robbed Peter to pay Paul, made it work. Barely. Zoe had walked into the room holding her tablet, her brown eyes bright with excitement. "Daddy, can I get this app? It's for learning math. It's only $5. He'd looked at the screen. Educational, good reviews, $5. Might as well be 500. "Not right now, baby. Maybe next week." Her face fell. She nodded. "Okay." No argument, no tantrum. She understood. 7 years old, and she understood. They didn't have $5 for an app. That understanding hurt worse than any complaint could. She climbed onto the couch next to him, wrapped her small arms around his waist. "It's okay, Daddy. I love you anyway." His heart cracked. He kissed the top of her head. Her tight curls tickled his chin. "I love you too, Zoe Bear. More than anything in this whole world." She'd pulled back, looked up at him. Her mother's eyes, her mother's smile. "Are we poor?" The question landed like a punch. He'd chosen his words carefully. "We don't have a lot of money, but we're rich in other ways." "Like what?" "Like love, like each other, like knowing right from wrong." She thought about that, nodded slowly. "Is that why you always help people, even when they don't pay you?" He'd smiled. "That's exactly why." The memory of Mrs. Chen from two doors down, 80 years old. Her sink had sprung a leak, flooded her kitchen. She'd knocked on his door, crying, apologizing for bothering him. Marcus had grabbed his tools, fixed it, refused payment. She'd tried to give him $20, all she had. He'd hugged her instead, told her to buy groceries. She'd cried harder. The look on Zoe's face when he'd come home. Pride. Pure pride. That look was worth more than any paycheck. Zoe had gone back to her tablet. Free apps only. He'd returned to his bills, shuffled numbers, made impossible choices. Pay rent or pay electric. Feed his daughter or fix his truck. Always a choice, always a sacrifice. His phone had buzzed. Text message, job offer, emergency call, burst pipe across town, late night work. Time and a half. He'd texted back. "On my way." Zoe had looked up. "You have to go. Just for a few hours. Mrs. Patterson next door will check on you." She'd nodded. "Be safe." "Always am." He'd kissed her forehead, grabbed his tools, headed out into the night. The storm had been building, dark clouds swallowing the sky. He'd made it to the job. Commercial building. Water everywhere. Spent 3 hours in a flooded basement. Fixed the main line. Got paid in cash. Enough to cover rent and most of the electric bill. He'd driven home, worried, wet, but satisfied. Then the storm had hit for real. Then he'd seen the burning car. Now he sat on his couch in the dark, listening to rain hammer the roof. A stranger sleeping in his bed. A woman who probably had more money in her purse than he'd see all year. He checked his phone. 2 in the morning. He needed to look in on her, make sure she was breathing. He pushed up from the couch. His body ached. 36 years old and he felt 50. Hard work did that. Broke you down one job at a time. He crept to his bedroom, cracked the door. The woman was still asleep, still breathing. He watched for a minute, made sure her chest rose and fell evenly. She stirred, mumbled something. Her hand reached out, grasped air, looking for something, someone. He stepped back, closed the door quietly, returned to the couch. Sleep wouldn't come. His mind raced. Who was she? What had caused the crash? Was someone looking for her? He should have checked for a phone, called someone, but the fire, the panic, instinct had taken over. 3 in the morning, he checked again. She was turned on her side, breathing steady. 4 in the morning, still sleeping. 5 in the morning. The rain finally stopped. Silence settled over the house. Marcus dozed, fitful, shallow. His body knew to wake up at 6. He did, automatically. Stood, stretched, his back popped. He walked to Zoe's room, peeked in. She was sprawled across her bed, one leg hanging off, blanket on the floor. He smiled, pulled the blanket up, covered her. She mumbled, rolled over, kept sleeping. The woman in his bed was awake, sort of. Her eyes were open but unfocused. He approached slowly. "How are you feeling?" She blinked, tried to sit up, groaned, fell back. "Everything hurts." "That's normal. You were in a bad accident." "Where am I?" "My house. I pulled you out of your car. It was on fire." Her hand went to her head, touched the bandage he'd put there. "Who are you, Marcus?" "Marcus Johnson." She closed her eyes, tried to remember. It came back in pieces. The storm, hydroplaning, the tree, the fire. You saved me. Just did what anyone would do. She opened her eyes, looked at him directly, not anyone. Most people would have driven past. He shrugged. Wasn't going to let you burn. She studied him, really studied him, taking in his worn jeans, his faded shirt, his calloused hands. Why? Because leaving someone to die isn't an option. Simple as that, she smiled. Weak, but genuine. Simple as that. Yeah. She tried to sit up again. Slower this time. Made it. The room spun. She gripped the edge of the bed. Nausea washed over her. Breathe. He handed her water from the nightstand. Small sips. She drank. The water helped. Her vision cleared. The room came into focus. Small, clean, sparse. A man's room. No decoration, no personality, just function. Where are my clothes? Drying. You were soaked. I didn't want you getting hypothermia. She looked down, realized she was wearing his old sweatpants and a t-shirt, clothes that swallowed her frame. Heat rose to her cheeks. You changed me only enough to get you dry. I kept my eyes closed. Mostly. The last word hung there. She should be angry, violated, but something in his face. Honest, embarrassed. She believed him. Thank you for everything. Don't mention it. Seriously, don't. I don't need thanks. She swung her legs off the bed, stood, too fast. The world tilted. Marcus caught her. Steady. You probably have a concussion. Should take it easy. She leaned against him, just for a moment. His arms were strong, steady, safe. Then she pulled away, stood on her own. I need to get back. Back where? To my life, my work. He nodded. I'll call you a cab, once you tell me where to send it. She reached for her purse, pulled out her phone. Dead. Of course. Can I use your charger? He handed her one. She plugged in, waited. The screen lit up. 53 missed calls, 87 texts. Her assistant, her board members, her security team, everyone panicking. She scrolled through. Emergency meetings, press releases, stock prices. The world kept turning even when you almost died. She looked up. What time is it? Almost 7. I need to go. You need to rest. She straightened. Tried to project strength. I'll rest when I'm dead. Which almost happened last night. So I'm working on borrowed time anyway. Marcus recognized that tone. Stubborn, determined, ignoring reality because reality was inconvenient. He'd heard it in his own voice plenty of times. Fine, but at least eat something first. She wanted to argue. Her stomach growled. Traitor. He left the room. She heard him in the kitchen, pans clanking, cabinet doors, the smell of coffee. Strong, black, perfect. She sat back on the bed. Her whole body hurt. Ribs definitely bruised, maybe cracked, cuts on her arms from the glass, a goose egg on her temple. She looked like she'd been hit by a truck. She'd been hit by a tree close enough. Footsteps, light, small. A child appeared in the doorway. Brown skin, braided hair, bright eyes, curious, no fear. Who are you? The woman smiled. Just someone your dad helped. Are you okay? You look hurt. I'm okay, promise. The girl stepped closer. I'm Zoe. What's your name? The woman hesitated, then decided. Victoria. That's pretty. Thank you. How old are you? 7, almost 8. Victoria's chest tightened. 7. She remembered being 7. Foster home number 3. Or was it 4 hungry? Scared, unwanted? This girl had none of that in her eyes. This girl was loved. Zoe breakfast. Marcus's voice from the kitchen. Coming, Daddy. Zoe looked back at Victoria. I'm glad you're okay. She ran off. Victoria stood, followed more slowly, made it to the kitchen. It was tiny, barely room for 3 people. But it was clean, organized, a small table with mismatched chairs, Marcus at the stove, Zoe setting out plates. They moved like a team, practiced, efficient, no wasted motion, no wasted words, just comfort in routine. Sit. Marcus gestured to a chair. She did. He placed a plate in front of her. Scrambled eggs, toast, simple, hot. Her mouth watered. When had she last eaten? Yesterday morning, before the board meeting, before the drive, before everything went wrong. She picked up a fork, took a bite. It was good, better than good, real, made with care. Not thrown together, actually cooked. She ate. Zoe watched her. Do you like it? My daddy makes the best eggs. She wasn't wrong. It's delicious. Marcus poured coffee, handed her a mug. Black, no sugar, no cream, just coffee. She wrapped her hands around it. Let the warmth seep into her palms. They ate in silence. Not uncomfortable, just quiet. Morning routine. Then Zoe spoke. Daddy, can Victoria come to show and tell Zoe? What she seems interesting. Victoria smiled. That's sweet. But I'm sure you have better things to show. Zoe shook her head. All the kids bring their pets or toys. I could bring someone who almost died. That's way cooler. Zoe, Marcus's voice carried warning. She's teasing. Mostly, Victoria laughed. Actually laughed. It hurt her ribs, but she didn't care. Breakfast ended. Zoe cleared plates. Rinsed them. Put them in the sink. Chore completed without being asked. Good girl. Marcus ruffled her hair. She beamed. Ran to get ready for school. Victoria stood. Thank you for everything. The food, the shelter, saving my life, the list goes on. Marcus dried his hands. Anyone would have done the same. We already established that's not true. He shrugged. Then I'm glad I was there. Me too. She moved toward the living room, spotted her suit hanging by the door, mostly dry, wrinkled beyond repair. She touched the fabric. Silk, Italian, $2,000. Ruined. She'd bought it for yesterday's meeting. Wore it exactly once, now it was garbage. Funny how money worked. Could buy expensive things. Couldn't buy more time. Couldn't buy a second chance. She'd gotten her second chance from a man who probably couldn't afford to replace the shirt he'd given her. Her phone buzzed. Her assistant. Victoria, where are you? Everyone's worried sick. Safe. I'll be there soon. The response came immediately. Thank God. Car's waiting. Where she looked at Marcus. What's your address? He told her. She texted it. 5 minutes. Her assistant was efficient. Victoria turned to Marcus. My ride will be here soon. Okay. She wanted to say more. Thank you didn't cover it. Words felt inadequate. He'd given her his bed, his clothes, his food, his time. Asked for nothing, expected nothing. She reached into her purse, pulled out her wallet. Thick leather, designer. She opened it. Cash. Lots of it. She usually carried a couple thousand, emergency money. This qualified. She counted out 2,000 even, placed it on the table. For last night. He stared at it, then at her. What for helping you? For the inconvenience. For I didn't do it for money, I know. But, his jaw tightened. But what you think throwing money at me makes this transaction, makes us even? That's not, she held up a hand. Then what? Just take it. It's nothing to me, that's the problem. He pushed the money back. It might be nothing to you, but my help isn't for sale. I don't want your money. She blinked. Confused. Everyone wanted money. Everyone had a price. This man just saved your life and you're refusing compensation. Compensation? He laughed. Cold. Bitter. You don't compensate someone for doing the right thing. You just do it. Because it's right, that's it. No payment, no reward, no debt. Victoria stared at him. Really stared. Trying to understand. She'd built an empire on transactions. Everything had value. Everything could be bought, sold, traded. This man stood in his tiny kitchen, refused $2,000 like it was nothing, like his integrity was worth more. Maybe it was. I didn't mean to offend you. Too late. He turned away, started washing dishes, his movements sharp, angry. She stood there, uncertain. Outside a car horn, her ride. She grabbed her suit, her purse, her phone, headed for the door. She stopped, turned. Marcus. He didn't look up. Thank you. Not for the rescue, for reminding me that not everything has a price. He glanced at her. Some things are priceless. Remember that next time you try to buy someone's character? She flinched, nodded, left. The door closed behind her. Marcus exhaled, threw the dish towel down. His hands shook, anger, pride, shame mixed together. $2,000. He could have used it, paid off 3 months' rent, bought Zoe new clothes, fixed his truck. Instead, he'd thrown it back. Because principals didn't pay bills, but they helped him sleep at night. Zoe appeared, backpack on, ready for school. Was that the lady from last night? Yeah. She seems sad. People like her usually are. Why? Because having everything often means appreciating nothing. That's deep, Daddy. He smiled. Too deep for 7 in the morning, maybe. They walked to his truck. He drove her to school, kissed her goodbye, watched her run inside. Bright, happy, innocent. Everything he worked for captured in her smile. He drove to his first job of the day. A leaky faucet across town. Paid 40 bucks. Better than nothing. Victoria climbed into the back of the black town car. Her assistant sat waiting. Tablet in hand. Schedule pulled up. You look terrible. Thanks, I feel worse. Her assistant rattled off the day's agenda. 3 meetings, 2 conference calls, press briefing at 4. Victoria held up a hand. Reschedule everything. What? All of it. I need today. But the board. The board can wait. I almost died last night. They'll survive without me for 1 day. Her assistant stared. In 5 years, she'd never canceled, never rescheduled, never taken a sick day. Okay, I'll handle it. The car pulled away. Victoria looked back at the small house, at the peeling paint, the chain link fence, the old truck in the driveway. A man lived there. A good man. She tried to pay him, insult him, reduce his kindness to dollars and cents. He'd refused, thrown her money back, defended his dignity. She'd built her life buying people, their time, their loyalty, their silence. This man couldn't be bought. That made him dangerous. Or valuable. Maybe both. Her phone rang. Her PR director. Victoria, we need to discuss the narrative. What narrative? Your accident. The rescue. It's already leaked. Reporters are digging. We need to control the message. Fine. What do you suggest heroic citizen saves prominent CEO? We find him, give him a reward. Photo op, good press for everyone. Victoria's grip tightened on the phone. No photo op, no reward. He doesn't want it. How do you know? Because I tried. He refused. Her PR director paused. He refused money. Yes. Interesting. Handle it quietly. Make a donation to a local charity in his name. But no publicity. None. Are you sure? Positive. The call ended. The car drove through the city. Morning traffic, horns, sirens, life. Victoria watched it all through tinted windows. Disconnected. Removed. She'd built Sterling Industries from nothing. Slept in her car, ate ramen for months, worked 3 boss jobs, clawed her way up, made her first million by 30, second million by 32. Now at 38, she had more money than she could spend. And last night, she'd needed a handyman with a 10-year-old truck to save her life. Money couldn't buy survival, couldn't buy character, couldn't buy whatever it was that made Marcus Johnson throw away $2,000. The car stopped. Her building, Sterling Tower, 40 stories, glass and steel. Her name at the top. She'd arrived, literally and figuratively. Her assistant helped her out. Staff waited in the lobby, concerned faces, relieved smiles. She walked through, nodded, smiled, assured everyone she was fine. Took the private elevator to her office. Top floor, corner suite, windows overlooking the entire city. Her domain, her kingdom, empty. She sat at her desk, stared at her computer, emails, reports, contracts. The machinery of business. All of it felt hollow, meaningless. She picked up her phone, pulled up her contacts, scrolled to her investigator, the one she kept on retainer, for background checks, due diligence, finding dirt on competitors. She typed a message. Marcus Johnson, single father, works as a handyman, lives at the address I sent you this morning. I need everything, full background, employment history, financial records, everything. Send the message. Her finger hovered. She deleted it. Put the phone down. No, whatever she learned about Marcus, she'd learn from him, if she ever saw him again, which seemed unlikely. Men like that didn't travel in her circles, didn't attend her parties, didn't sit on her boards. They lived parallel lives, intersecting only in emergencies. Last night had been an emergency. This morning was reality. Reality meant going back to normal, except normal felt different now. Less satisfying, more hollow. She'd spent years building walls. Last night someone had cracked them. With kindness, with dignity, with refusal to be bought. Her intercom buzzed. "Miss Sterling, you have a visitor." I said no meetings today. "It's not a meeting, it's the police. They need a statement about the accident." She sighed. "Send them in." Two officers, young, professional, notebooks out. They asked questions. She answered. Describe the storm, the hydroplaning, the tree, the fire, then the rescue. Can you describe the person who saved you? Tall, strong African-American, maybe mid-30s, drove a truck, took me to his home, made sure I was okay. Name Marcus Johnson. Address. She gave it. The officers exchanged glances. That neighborhood, is there a problem? No, ma'am, just making note. We'll follow up with him. Thank you for your time. They left. Victoria sat back, closed her eyes. Her head pounded, ribs ached, body screamed for rest. But her mind wouldn't stop, kept replaying the moment Marcus pushed the money back, the look on his face. Insulted, hurt, angry. She'd hurt him, reduced something sacred to a transaction. People did that to her all the time, used her, manipulated her, saw dollar signs instead of a person. She'd done the same to him, turned his heroism into a business deal. No wonder he'd reacted that way. 3 days passed. Victoria threw herself into work. Back-to-back meetings, conference calls, board presentations, 16-hour days, anything to avoid thinking, avoid remembering, avoid the feeling that something had shifted inside her. Her assistant noticed, "You're working too hard, even for you." "I'm fine, you're running on fumes, you almost died 3 days ago. Maybe take a break." "I don't need a break, I need to work." Her assistant knew better than to argue. Brought coffee, scheduled lighter meetings for the following week, did what assistants do. Enabled, supported, worried. On the third night, Victoria sat alone in her penthouse, floor-to-ceiling windows, city lights below. She'd bought this place 5 years ago, $20 million, most expensive property in the state. It felt empty, had always felt empty, but she'd never cared before. Now the emptiness echoed. She poured whiskey, expensive, top shelf. It burned going down. She poured another, stared at the city. Somewhere down there, Marcus was putting Zoe to bed, reading her a story, kissing her goodnight, working tomorrow, struggling tomorrow, living tomorrow. Her phone rang. Unknown number. She almost didn't answer. "Hello, Miss Sterling. This is Detective Martinez. We spoke 3 days ago about your accident." "Yes, I remember. I wanted to follow up. We visited Mr. Johnson, took his statement. Everything checks out. He's quite the hero." Victoria's chest tightened. "Is there a problem?" "No problem. Just wanted you to know we also ran his background. Standard procedure." And the detective paused. "He's got nothing. Clean record. No arrests, not even a parking ticket. Works hard, pays his taxes. Raises his daughter alone. Mother died in childbirth. He's been doing it solo for 7 years." The detective's voice softened. "Guy's a genuine article. Rare these days. Thank you for letting me know. One more thing. He mentioned you tried to give him money. He turned it down. Said he doesn't want publicity or reward. Just wanted to make sure you were okay." The detective laughed. "I've been doing this 20 years. Never met anyone who'd refuse 2 grand. No strings. Thought you should know what kind of man saved your life. I do now." "Thank you, detective." The call ended. Victoria sat there. Whiskey forgotten. Mother died in childbirth. 7 years raising Zoe alone. Working odd job, barely getting by, still refused money, still held on to dignity, still taught his daughter right from wrong. She stood, paced, made a decision, pulled up her contacts, called her lawyer, corporate, the one who handled acquisitions. "Victoria, it's late. I need you to pull property records. Now tonight." "Address is the house at Marcus's address. What are you looking for?" "Who owns it?" "Management company. Sterling Property Holdings. We own its subsidiary. Shell company. We bought the block 3 years ago. Rental properties. Low-income housing. 30 units. Who manages it?" "Third party. Some outfit called Prestige Management." "Fire them. What, tomorrow morning?" "Fire them. Notify all tenants. Sterling Industries is taking over direct management. Victoria, I want every lease reviewed, every tenant, every rent payment, every late fee, everything. Send it all to me by noon tomorrow. She hung up. Her lawyer would comply. He always did. She paid him enough. She pulled up her computer, logged into the financial system, found Sterling Property Holdings, looked at the revenue, rental income, profit margins. These weren't investments. They were people's homes. Families living paycheck to paycheck. She'd been one of them once, 16 years old, homeless, sleeping in shelters. 20 years later, she owned the kind of places she used to dream about affording. Full circle. Except she'd forgotten. She'd climbed so high she'd lost sight of the ground. Morning came, her lawyer delivered. 30 tenant files. She opened Marcus Johnson's first. Address confirmed. Rental history, 5 years, never late, never missed a payment. Income reported, freelance repairs. Average monthly earnings barely enough to cover rent and basic expenses. His lease, standard. Renewal coming up in 4 months. Rent increase scheduled, 10%. She did the math. His current rent was $800. New rent would be $880, an extra $80 a month. For him, that was groceries. For her company, it was a rounding error. She read through the other files, similar stories, single mothers, elderly couples, young families, all struggling, all barely making it. Her company extracting maximum profit from minimum resources. Legal, standard. Ethical, she'd never questioned it before. Business was business. Profit was profit. Now she questioned everything. Her phone buzzed. Her assistant, Marcus Johnson, is here. What? Downstairs, in the lobby. Says he needs to speak with you. Security called. Victoria's heart jumped. Send him up. Are you sure? Yes, now. She stood, smoothed her suit, white, crisp armor. 2 minutes. The elevator dinged. Doors opened. Marcus stepped out. Work clothes, jeans, t-shirt, tool belt still strapped to his waist, grease on his hands. He looked around, took in the opulence. The marble, the art, the crystal chandeliers. His jaw tightened. He walked toward her office. Her assistant moved to intercept. It's fine, let him through. Marcus entered. She closed the door behind him. The space felt smaller with him in it, more real. Marcus, Victoria, silence. He looked at her, then around the office, then back at her. So this is what I saved. A CEO, an empire. Congratulations. You did your research. Wasn't hard. You're on magazine covers. You're quite famous. He said it like an accusation. She bristled. Is there a reason you're here, or did you just come to judge my success? He pulled an envelope from his pocket, tossed it on her desk. This came yesterday. She picked it up, opened it. Notice from Sterling Property Holdings. Lease modification, effective immediately. All rental obligations forgiven. Property deed transferred to tenant, free and clear. She looked up. His face was stone, angry, hurt, betrayed. You own my house, I do. You've owned it this whole time. 3 years. When were you going to tell me I just found out myself? Bullshit. She met his eyes. It's true, I didn't know. My company owns hundreds of properties. I don't personally oversee every rental. So this is a coincidence you saved me. I find out you own my house. You pay off my lease. Give me the deed. All coincidence. I was trying to help. By taking away my choice, by making decisions for me, I didn't. He stepped closer. You did exactly what I told you not to do. You turned kindness into a transaction. I saved your life so you give me a house. That's not how it works. It's not like that. Then what's it like? Explain it to me. Because from where I'm standing, you did the one thing I asked you not to. You tried to buy me. She felt heat rise to her face. I wasn't trying to buy you, no. Then what do you call this? I call it gratitude. I call it helping someone who deserves better. And I call it insulting. I call it condescending. I call it rich person guilt dressed up as generosity. His voice rose. I don't need your charity. I don't need your pity. And I sure as hell don't need you deciding what I deserve. The words hit like slaps. She absorbed them. He wasn't wrong. She'd made decisions without consulting him. Assumed she knew best. Assumed money fixed everything. Classic mistake. One she'd sworn never to make. Yet here she was, making it. I apologize. That's it. That's all you have, an apology. What do you want me to say? That I was trying to help, that I thought it was the right thing because I did. And I was wrong. You're damn right you were wrong. He grabbed the envelope, crumpled it, threw it in her trash. Keep your house. I'll pay my rent. Like I always do. He turned to leave. She spoke quickly. The building needs repairs. What I reviewed all the properties. They're falling apart. Leaking roofs, broken heating, faulty wiring. The management company has been neglecting maintenance for years. And and I'm fixing it, all of it. Starting with your building, I'm hiring contractors, real ones, to do the work right. He turned back, his expression unchanged. So hire contractors. I don't need your permission. I know, but I want you to oversee it. Me. You know the building, you know the tenants, you know what needs fixing. Work for you. She nodded. I'll pay you properly. Market rate for project management. He laughed, bitter. You just can't help yourself, can you? What does that mean? Throwing money around, trying to fix everything with your checkbook. This isn't about money. Everything with you is about money. That's not fair, isn't it? You tried to pay me for saving your life. That didn't work. So now you're paying me to manage your guilty conscience. His words stung, mostly because they contained truth. She took a breath. You're right. Partially. Yes, I'm wealthy. Yes, I use money to solve problems. But this isn't guilt, it's responsibility. Responsibility for what? For owning buildings I didn't know needed repair. For profiting off people who are struggling. For being so disconnected I didn't see what was right in front of me. Her voice cracked. Slightly. Enough. I grew up poor, Marcus. Foster care, group homes, homeless at 16. I know what it's like to live in a place where nothing works and no one cares. I swore when I made it I'd never forget. But I did. I got rich and I forgot. You saved my life, fine. But you also reminded me who I used to be. And I don't like who I've become. Marcus studied her, looking for lies, finding none. So what do you want? I want to fix the buildings. I want to help the tenants. And I want you to make sure I do it right. Because clearly I can't be trusted to do it myself. Why me? Because you're honest. Because you'll tell me when I'm being an idiot. Because you threw $2,000 back in my face and I respect the hell out of that. He almost smiled. Almost. Let me get this straight. You want to hire me to tell you you're being an idiot? Essentially, he shook his head. This is insane. Probably, but will you do it? He thought about it. About his rent. About the leaky roof in Mrs. Chen's unit. About the broken heater in the young couple's apartment downstairs. About all the things he'd noticed and couldn't afford to fix himself. How much? 50 an hour. 20 hours a week. For as long as it takes. That's 1,000 a week. Yes, for how long? 6 months. Maybe more. She did quick math. 25,000 minimum. Why? Because I need someone I can trust. And despite your best efforts to insult me, I trust you. He wanted to say no. Wanted to walk out. Prove he couldn't be bought. But 25,000. That was Zoe's college fund. That was security. That was breathing room. Principals were expensive. Sometimes too expensive. One condition. What? No more surprise gifts. No more paid-off leases. No more decisions about my life without asking me first. Agreed. And you treat everyone in those buildings with respect, not charity. Respect. Always. He extended his hand. She took it. Deal. They shook. Her hand was soft. His was calloused. Different worlds. Same grip. Marcus left. Took the elevator down. Walked through the lobby, out into the street. Sunlight hit his face. He'd just agreed to work for the woman he'd sworn to avoid. The woman who'd tried to buy him. Twice. Now he'd be seeing her regularly. Reporting to her. Taking her money. The irony wasn't lost. He pulled out his phone. Called Zoe's school. Mrs. Patterson's number. Hey, it's Marcus. Can you pick up Zoe today? I've got a meeting running late. No problem. She around for dinner. We'd love to have her. Thank you. I owe you. You owe me nothing. We're neighbors. That's what we do. He hung up. Neighbors, community, people helping people. Not because they owed each other, because it was right. That's what he'd tried to explain to Victoria. That's what she didn't understand, couldn't understand. Money changed people. isolated them, made them think in transactions instead of connections. He'd seen it his whole life. Rich people acting like poverty was a moral failing, like struggling meant you weren't trying hard enough. They didn't see the rigged game, the stacked deck, the systemic barriers. They just saw their own success and assumed everyone had the same opportunities. But Victoria was different. Maybe. She'd acknowledged her privilege, admitted she'd forgotten her roots. That took guts. Most people doubled down, defended their wealth, blamed the poor for being poor. She'd done the opposite, taken responsibility, promised to do better. Words were cheap, actions mattered. He'd see if she followed through. His phone rang. Unknown number. Hello, Mr. Johnson. This is Rebecca Tran. I'm the coordinator for the Sterling Foundation. Victoria asked me to reach out. Okay, she'd like to discuss a new initiative, something she's calling the Johnson Fund. The WHATA program supporting single parents, financial assistance, job training, childcare. She wants your input on structure and implementation. My input. She said you know the community better than anyone. Said your perspective is invaluable. Marcus stopped walking, stood on the sidewalk. People flowed around him. The Johnson Fund, named after him. Without asking. Again. Son of a... He took a breath. When does she want to meet tomorrow, if possible? Our offices. 10 in the morning. He wanted to say no. Wanted to tell Rebecca to tell Victoria to name her fund something else. But single parents, financial assistance, that could help people. Real people. His neighbors. His friends. Zoe's classmates' parents. He couldn't say no to that. I'll be there. Wonderful. I'll send the address. The call ended. Marcus looked up. At the sky, at the buildings, at the wealth surrounding him. He was getting pulled into Victoria's world. Step by step, meeting by meeting, dollar by dollar, he'd resisted, fought back, defended his dignity. But she kept finding ways around his defenses, kept offering things he couldn't refuse. Not for himself, for others. She was smart, strategic, knew exactly which buttons to push. Or maybe she was genuine. Maybe this was really about helping, fixing her mistakes, making amends. Time would tell. It always did. He walked to his truck, drove to his next job, a toilet repair, paid $60. He worked, focused on the task. Wrench, pipe, seal, simple, mechanical, fixable. Life wasn't always fixable, but toilets were. Small victories. He finished, collected payment, drove home. Mrs. Patterson's house. Zoe was in the yard, playing, saw his truck, ran over. Daddy. Hey, Zoe Bear, how was school? Good. I got an A on my math test. Of course you did. You're brilliant. She beamed. Mrs. Patterson says we can stay for dinner. That okay? He looked at Mrs. Patterson. She nodded, smiled. If it's too much, you're never too much. Come on, both of you. They went inside. Mrs. Patterson's house smelled like home cooking. Garlic, onions, tomatoes, real food. She'd set the table for 3. They sat, ate, talked. Mrs. Patterson asked about his day. He kept it vague. Landed a big job, project management gig. That's wonderful. You deserve good news, Zoe chimed in. My daddy's the best. He fixes everything. Mrs. Patterson smiled. He certainly does. After dinner, Marcus helped with dishes. Zoe played with Mrs. Patterson's cat, an old tabby named Oscar. Lazy, friendly, perfect for Zoe, who desperately wanted a pet they couldn't afford. They walked home. 2 doors down, Zoe held his hand. Daddy, can we get a cat someday, baby, when we have a little more room in the budget? She accepted that. She always did. Never pushed, never demanded, just understood. 7 years old with the wisdom of someone much older. Poverty did that, forced kids to grow up too fast, stripped away innocence, replaced it with reality. He hated that, wanted better for her. Maybe this job with Victoria, maybe this fund, maybe things were changing. Inside bath time, bedtime, story time. He read her favorite book, the one about the little engine that could. She knew it by heart, whispered along. I think I can. I think I can. I know I can. The engine made it up the hill. Always did. Inspiration for kids everywhere. He closed the book, kissed her forehead. Sweet dreams, Zoe Bear. Daddy, yeah. Are we going to be okay? Always, even when it's hard, especially when it's hard. She hugged him, tight. He held her. Let the moment stretch. These were the moments that mattered. Not the money, not the tree, not the house. Just this. Father and daughter, together, surviving. He left her room, went to the kitchen, made coffee, sat at the table, pulled out paperwork, the lease modification notice Victoria had sent. He'd thrown the original in her trash, but they'd sent another. Same terms, lease forgiven, deed transferred, free and clear. He stared at it. Free and clear meant no rent, no housing payment. That would change everything. 800 a month freed up. That was groceries. That was clothes. That was savings. That was stability. But it also meant accepting charity, meant letting Victoria buy her way into his life, meant compromising principles. Was it compromise or was it common sense? He thought about Zoe, about her future, about the opportunities he could give her with an extra 800 a month. Piano lessons, summer camp, college savings, things other kids took for granted, things he couldn't provide working job to job. Was his pride worth more than her potential? The question hurt. No good answer, just choices, hard choices. He folded the paperwork, put it in a drawer. Decision postponed, not avoided. Postponed. He'd talk to Victoria tomorrow, set boundaries, make clear he wasn't for sale. But maybe he could accept help. For Zoe, not for himself, never for himself, for her. His phone buzzed. Text message. Rebecca Tran, the coordinator. Tomorrow's meeting confirmed. 10 a.m., address attached. Looking forward to discussing the Johnson Fund with you. He typed back, see you then. Put the phone down, the Johnson Fund. His name, his story, his struggle, turned into a program, an initiative, a foundation. Part of him hated it, the exposure, the attention, the implication he needed saving. Another part recognized the potential if it helped even one family, one parent, one kid. Maybe it was worth it. Maybe his discomfort was a small price for someone else's relief. He finished his coffee, checked the locks, turned off the lights, went to the couch, his bed, always his bed. Zoe had the bedroom, the real bed, the comfortable mattress. He got the couch, lumpy, short. His feet hung off the edge. 36 years old and sleeping on a couch, success. He smiled, bitter, tired. But tomorrow was a new day, a meeting, a possibility, a chance, maybe. He closed his eyes, sleep came slowly. Dreams came faster. Fire, rain, a woman's face, fear, gratitude, confusion. The storm played on repeat. Each time he reached the car, each time he pulled her out, each time the fire erupted just behind them. Close, too close, luck, timing, fate. Whatever it was, he'd been there. Done the right thing, right. Now his life was tangled with hers, for better or worse. Time would tell. Morning, 6 a.m. Marcus woke, made breakfast, woke Zoe. School routine. Efficient. Practiced. She ate. He packed her lunch. They walked to his truck. He drove her to school, kissed her goodbye, watched her run inside. Then he drove across town, to the address Rebecca had sent. Sterling Foundation offices. Separate from the main tower. Smaller building. Still nice, still expensive. Marble lobby, security desk. He gave his name. They checked a list, nodded, sent him up. Third floor. Rebecca met him at the elevator. Mid-30s, professional, warm smile. Mr. Johnson, thank you for coming. Call me Marcus. Marcus, please this way. She led him down a hall, past offices, conference rooms, meeting spaces. Everything was clean, modern, well-funded. They entered a large room, round table, chairs, whiteboards, windows overlooking the city. Victoria sat at the table, laptop open, papers spread out. She looked up, smiled, professional, guarded. Marcus, thank you for coming. He nodded, sat across from her. Rebecca took a seat between them. Mediator, buffer. Let's begin. Victoria clicked her laptop. A presentation appeared on the wall screen. The Johnson Fund. The title slide. Marcus's name in bold letters. He tensed. She continued. The goal is simple. Support single parents, specifically single fathers who are underrepresented in most assistance programs. We provide three things: financial support for basic needs, job training for career advancement, childcare assistance for work-life balance. She clicked. Next slide. Statistics, numbers, data. Single fathers make up 20% of single-parent households. Most programs target mothers. Fathers fall through the cracks. Employment challenges, wage gaps, stigma. She clicked again. Our approach: direct cash assistance. No strings, no requirements, just help. Partner with local businesses for job training. Subsidize childcare through vetted providers. All coordinated through a case management system. Marcus listened. It was comprehensive, well thought out, actually helpful, not just throwing money at problems, but addressing root causes, creating pathways, building support systems. He was impressed, against his will. She clicked again. Implementation timeline. Phase 1. Pilot program. 20 families. 6 months. Measure outcomes. Adjust. Scale up. She looked at him. This is where you come in. Me. You know this community. You live this experience. We need your expertise to identify families who would benefit, to ensure we're actually helping, not just checking boxes, Rebecca added. We're also hoping you'll serve on the advisory board, help guide strategy, keep us accountable. Marcus leaned back, thought about it. This is a lot. We know. Take time to decide. Victoria's voice softened. I'm not trying to put you on the spot. I just wanted you to see what we're planning, get your input. Make sure it's actually useful, not just feel good and corporate nonsense. He met her eyes. Why my name? Why call it the Johnson Fund? Because you represent what this fund is about. Integrity, hard work, doing right even when it's hard. You refuse reward for saving my life. That's the opposite of transactional thinking. That's pure character. And that's what I want this fund to embody. Help because it's right, not because there's something in it for us, he wanted to argue. But she wasn't wrong. The name meant something, set a tone, established values. Maybe it was okay. Maybe he could live with it. What's my role exactly? Rebecca answered. Advisory board meets monthly, reviews applications, approves funding, assesses impact, maybe 10 hours a month, compensated. How much? Standard board member rate, $5,000 per meeting. Marcus's eyes widened. 5,000? She can't be serious. I'm very serious. That's 60,000 a year. For 10 hours a month, that's ridiculous. That's what we pay all our board members. This isn't charity for you. It's a real position with real responsibilities, real compensation. He stood, paced. 60,000. That was more than he made in a year doing repairs. That changed everything. That was life-changing, but it also felt wrong, like accepting too much, like crossing a line. I need to think about this. Of course, take all the time you need. Victoria stood, walked around the table, stopped a few feet away. Marcus, I know this feels like a lot. I know you don't want charity. This isn't charity. It's partnership. I have resources. You have knowledge. Together we can actually help people. Isn't that worth it? He looked at her, really looked, saw determination, sincerity, vulnerability. She meant it. This wasn't about buying him, wasn't about guilt. It was about making a difference, using privilege to create opportunity. He thought about Zoe, about Mrs. Chen, about all the parents at Zoe's school working double shifts, living paycheck to paycheck, one emergency away from disaster. This fund could help them. If he said no because of pride, who did that serve nobody? If he said yes, swallowed his discomfort, maybe dozens of families got help. The math was simple. The choice was hard. I'll think about it. That's all I ask. When do you need an answer? End of the week. He nodded. End of the week. Rebecca walked him out, thanked him for coming, gave him her card. Call any time. Questions, concerns, anything. He took the card, rode the elevator down, walked to his truck, sat inside, didn't start the engine, just sat, processing. A week ago, he was living job to bomb, struggling to make rent. Now he had two job offers from the same woman. Project management, advisory board, combined income of nearly 90,000 a year. That was 6 times what he made now. That was middle class. That was stability. That was everything he'd wanted for Zoe. And all he had to do was work with Victoria Sterling. The woman he'd saved. The woman he'd refused. The woman who kept finding ways to pay him back despite his protests. He started the engine, drove to his next job. A roof leak, paid 75. He worked, focused, climbed ladders, patched shingles. Simple, physical, mind-clearing. But even as he worked, his brain churned, processing, analyzing, weighing options. By the time he finished, the sun was setting. He picked up Zoe from after-school care, drove home, made dinner, helped with homework, bath, books, bed, routine, normal. Except nothing felt normal anymore. Everything was changing, shifting, opportunities appearing where there had been only obstacles. It should feel good. It did feel good. Mostly, but also scary, uncertain. Change always was. After Zoe slept, Marcus pulled out his phone, scrolled through contacts, found one, pressed call. It rang 3 times. Hello. Hey, Dev. It's Marcus. Marcus, man, long time. How are you? Good. Busy. Listen, you got a minute always. What's up, Marcus explained. Not everything, just enough. The rescue, the job offers, the decision he faced. Dev listened. An old friend from high school, now a social worker, saw this stuff every day. When Marcus finished, Dev was quiet. Then he spoke. You know what you're asking me, whether I should take the money, whether taking it compromises who I am. Dev laughed. Man, that's above my pay grade. But I'll tell you what I tell my clients. Pride don't feed your kid. Principles don't pay bills. If someone wants to help and the help is real, take it, use it, make it count. But what if she's just buying her way out of guilt? Then you still helped families who needed it, still got compensated for real work, still provided for Zoe. Her motivations don't change the outcome. Unless they do, unless this is all PR, unless it falls apart in 6 months and everyone who depended on it gets hurt worse than before. That's the risk. Dev's voice turned serious. But Marcus, you can't control that. You can't guarantee outcomes. You can only do your best with what you're given. You're being offered a chance to help people while helping yourself. Most of us never get that. Don't throw it away because it feels too good to be true. Sometimes good things actually happen, even to good people. Marcus smiled. When did you get so wise? Years of watching people sabotage themselves. Don't be one of them. They talk longer, caught up, made plans to grab coffee, hung up. Marcus felt lighter. Dev was right. This was an opportunity, not a trap, not charity, an opportunity to make things better. For himself, for Zoe, for his community. Taking it didn't make him weak. Refusing it didn't make him strong. It just made him stubborn. And stubbornness wasn't a virtue when it hurt the people you loved. Decision made. He'd take the jobs, set clear boundaries, make sure Victoria understood this was professional, not personal, business, not friendship. He'd keep his distance, do the work, collect the pay, use it wisely, build a future. For Zoe, always for Zoe, he texted Rebecca, I'm in, both positions. Let's discuss details. The response came immediately. Wonderful, can you meet tomorrow, same time, same place? He confirmed. Put the phone down. Exhaled. Something in his chest loosened. Tension he'd been carrying for years. The weight of constant struggle. The pressure of never having enough. Maybe it wouldn't disappear overnight, but maybe it would ease. Just a little. Just enough. That night he slept better than he had in weeks. No dreams of fire. No replaying the rescue. Just rest. Deep. Peaceful. The sleep of someone who'd made a hard choice and believed it was the right one. Next morning, same routine. Zoe, school, drive across town. Sterling Foundation, 3rd floor, Rebecca and Victoria waiting. They sat, got down to business. Contracts, terms, schedules, everything in writing, everything official. Marcus read carefully, asked questions, negotiated minor points, stood his ground when needed, conceded when reasonable. They found middle ground. By noon it was done. Signed, dated, official. He was now project manager for Sterling Property Holdings, an advisory board member for the Johnson Fund. Start date immediately. He left with paperwork, instructions, contact lists, more responsibility than he'd had in years, more money than he'd dreamed possible, more pressure than he knew how to handle, but also more hope. And hope was dangerous. Hope could break you, but it could also save you. Marcus Johnson walked out of that building a different man than when he'd entered. Not changed. Changed wasn't the right word. Transformed, given tools he'd never had, given chances he'd never expected, given partnership with someone who saw value in him beyond his labor. Victoria Sterling had saved his life. Not with CPR, not with rescue, with opportunity, with investment, with belief that he was worth more than minimum wage and maximum effort. He'd saved her from fire. She'd saved him from drowning. Different dangers, same result. Survival, together. And maybe, just maybe, that was the point. Nobody makes it alone. Everybody needs somebody. Pride was expensive. Community was priceless. He was learning. Finally. At 36, he was learning what Zoe already knew. Accepting help wasn't weakness. It was wisdom. And wisdom kept you alive. 3 weeks later, Marcus stood backstage at the downtown convention center. His borrowed suit jacket felt like a straitjacket. The tie choked him. Shoes pinched his toes. He tugged at the collar. Zoe sat beside him in a yellow dress Victoria had bought without asking. Another boundary crossed. But Zoe loved it, twirled in it, called herself a princess. How could he say no to that? People rushed past. Production assistants with clipboards, camera operators testing equipment, reporters setting up microphones. The Johnson Fund launch event, invitation only, 200 guests, media coverage, live streaming. His stomach churned. This wasn't his world. He fixed pipes, changed light bulbs, collected $40 payments in cash. Now he was about to stand on a stage in front of cameras and talk about poverty like some kind of expert. Expert by experience. That's what Rebecca had called it. Sounded better than broke. Victoria appeared from around a curtain. White suit, red lipstick, hair pulled back. Professional, powerful, ready. She saw him, smiled, walked over. "How are you holding up? Like I'm about to throw up," she laughed. "You'll be fine. Just speak from the heart." "That's what terrifies me." "Why?" "Because my heart says run." She touched his arm. "Light, brief. You saved my life in a storm. You can handle a speech in air conditioning." "Not the same thing." "Close enough." A production assistant approached. "5 minutes, Miss Sterling." Victoria nodded, turned back to Marcus. "I need to tell you something." "What?" "There's going to be press. Lots of it. I know, you told me. Not just about the fund, about you, about the rescue. It leaked." "How much leaked?" "Everything. Your name, your address, the fact you refused money. Reporters have been digging." His jaw tightened. "Digging into what? Your background, your finances, your life." Marcus felt his chest constrict. "They had no right. They have every right. You're a public interest story now. The hero who said no to the rich CEO. It's compelling. It's invasive. It's reality. I'm sorry. I tried to control the narrative, but these things take on lives of their own." Zoe tugged his sleeve. "Daddy, what's wrong?" "Nothing, baby. Just grown-up stuff." "Are you famous now?" He forced a smile. "Not famous. Just helping people." Victoria knelt down to Zoe's level. "Your dad is very brave. Braver than he knows." Zoe beamed. "I know. He's the best." "The best." Victoria stood, caught Marcus's eye. Something passed between them. Understanding, respect, fear. They were in this together now, for better or worse. The music started, low. Building. Victoria squeezed his hand once, quick, then walked toward the stage entrance. Showtime. Lights dimmed in the main hall. Conversations hushed. The crowd settled. Marcus watched from the wings as Victoria strode onto stage. Confident, commanding. Every eye locked on her. Good evening. Thank you for coming. Tonight we're launching something I should have started years ago. The Johnson Fund. Applause rippled through the room. She continued, "This fund exists because one man showed me something I'd forgotten. That wealth without character is empty. That success without integrity is hollow. That the measure of a person isn't their bank account, but their willingness to do right when no one's watching." She gestured toward the wings. "Marcus Johnson, please join me." His legs wouldn't move. Zoe pushed him. "Go, Daddy!" He stumbled forward, into the light. Blinding. Hot. Cameras flashed. People stood, applauded. He walked to Victoria. She handed him a microphone. His hand shook. "Say something." He looked at the crowd, hundreds of faces, all watching, all waiting. His mouth went dry. "I'm not good at this." His voice echoed through the hall. "I'm a handyman. I fix things. Toilets, roofs, broken stuff. That's what I know." He paused. Found Zoe in the wings, her face glowing with pride. "But I also know what it's like to count pennies, to choose between rent and food, to tell your kid maybe next time when they ask for something that costs $5. Silence. Complete. Everyone listening. That night in the storm, I didn't think. I just acted. Someone needed help. I helped. That's it. No heroism, no grand gesture, just human decency. The audience leaned forward. He continued, "This fund isn't about me. It's about every parent working 2 jobs, every person stretching every dollar, every family one emergency away from homelessness. You're not invisible. You matter. And now you have support." The crowd erupted. Standing ovation. Marcus stepped back, overwhelmed. Victoria took his hand, raised it. Together they stood. Cameras flashed. Reporters scribbled. Someone shouted a question. "Mr. Johnson, how much did Miss Sterling pay you?" Marcus froze. Another voice. "Is this a publicity stunt?" Victoria's grip tightened on his hand. She pulled him off stage, into the chaos of backstage, away from the lights. He leaned against a wall, breathing hard. "That was brutal. You did great. They think I'm being paid off. Let them think what they want. We know the truth. Does truth matter when perception is reality?" Before she could answer, Rebecca rushed over. Tablet in hand, face pale. "We have a problem." "What kind of problem?" "Social media. Someone leaked Marcus's financial records." "What? How? I don't know, but it's everywhere. His income, his debts, his rent payments, everything." Marcus felt the room tilt. "That's illegal. That's public record for anyone determined enough to find it." Rebecca showed them the tablet. Twitter, Reddit, Facebook. Screenshots of his tax returns, bank statements, articles with headlines. "Hero handyman barely makes ends meet. Did Victoria Sterling buy her savior? Poor single dad gets rich. CEO's charity." Marcus read them, each one a punch to the gut. "This is what you wanted, right?" His voice came out bitter, cold. "Good press for your fund. I didn't want this. You got it anyway. Marcus, please." He pulled away from her. "Zoe. Where's Zoe still in the green room? I need to get her out of here, now." He pushed through the crowd, found the green room. Zoe sat on a couch, swinging her legs, playing a game on a tablet someone had given her. "Daddy, did you see me wave? I saw you. You were perfect," she smiled. "Are we leaving?" "Yeah, baby, time to go. But the party just started. We'll have our own party, home, just us." He scooped her up, headed for the exit. Victoria caught up. "Please don't go like this." "Like what? Angry? I have every right to be angry. I know. I'm sorry. Sorry doesn't fix this. My life is entertainment now. My struggles are content. My daughter gets to read about how poor her father is. I never wanted stop." He turned, faced her. "You wanted a feel-good story. You got one. Congratulations. The fund will do great. The press loves it. Everyone wins, except me. Marcus, don't. Just don't." He carried Zoe out. Through the convention center, past reporters. They swarmed. Cameras, microphones, questions shouted from all directions. "Mr. Johnson, how do you respond to allegations you're being paid for endorsement? Did you refuse Miss Sterling's money or just negotiate for more? Is it true you're bankrupt?" He kept walking. Head down, Zoe in his arms. His truck sat in the parking garage. He put her in, buckled her, drove. She was quiet, sensing his mood, processing what she'd seen. Daddy, are people mad at you? No, baby, just confused. About what? About why I helped someone without wanting anything back. That's weird. He smiled despite everything. Yeah, it's weird. Home. Safe. He locked the door, put Zoe to bed. She didn't argue. Exhaustion winning. He kissed her forehead. Love you, Zoe Bear. Love you more. Impossible. She giggled, then slept. He went to the living room, pulled out his phone. Mistake. Notifications everywhere. Messages, emails, friend requests from strangers, news alerts. His name trending. He turned it off. Sat in darkness. This was the cost of accepting help. This was the price of going public. Privacy, dignity, peace all gone. Sacrificed on the altar of doing good. The irony tasted like ash. Morning brought worse news. He woke to pounding on his door. Opened it. A woman stood there. Mid-30s, expensive clothes, cold eyes. Can I help you, Marcus Johnson? Who's asking? She smiled. Predatory. I'm Jennifer. Your wife. Ex-wife. You're not my ex-wife. You died, she laughed. Reports of my death were greatly exaggerated. His blood ran cold. Jennifer, Zoe's mother, the woman who'd abandoned them when Zoe was 6 months old, walked out, never came back. He told Zoe she was dead because it was easier than explaining abandonment. Now she stood on his porch, alive, smiling, like 7 years hadn't passed. What do you want to see, my daughter? You have no daughter. I gave her up. Legally, paperwork signed. I've reconsidered. Too late. Is it because I have a lawyer who says otherwise? Especially now that you're making money, working for that CEO. My daughter deserves better than struggle. She's had everything she needs from me, alone. Where were you when she had colic? When she learned to walk? When she started school, I was young, scared. I made mistakes. You abandoned us. And now you want back in because there's money. That's disgusting. Jennifer's smile disappeared. I want what's mine. Zoe isn't yours. She's mine. We'll see what the court says. She handed him papers. Custody petition. Filed yesterday. Hearing scheduled 3 weeks out. His hands shook reading it. Joint custody. Visitation rights. Back child support waived in exchange for access. It was calculated. Timed. She'd waited until he had something worth taking. Then struck. You won't win. I've been her only parent for 7 years. I'm stable now, employed. I can provide. And you're a single father barely scraping by who just got lucky with a rich benefactor. Judges love stability. I can offer that now. He wanted to slam the door in her face, wanted to scream, wanted to erase the last 5 minutes. Instead, he spoke quietly. Get off my property. We'll see each other in court. She walked away, climbed into a luxury car, drove off. Marcus closed the door, leaned against it. His worst nightmare. Custody battle. Legal fees. The possibility of losing Zoe. Everything he'd feared about going public. Everything he'd warned Victoria about. Now manifesting. Real. Immediate. Terrifying. He heard footsteps. Zoe emerged from her room, rubbing her eyes. Who was that daddy nobody baby? Just someone lost. Oh, she wandered to the kitchen, started making cereal. He watched her, his daughter, his world. The thought of sharing custody, of court-ordered visitation with a woman who'd abandoned her. It made him physically ill. He pulled out his phone, called the one person who might understand. Victoria answered on the first ring. Marcus, I need help. They met at a coffee shop. Neutral ground. She arrived before him, waited at a corner table. He sat, told her everything. Jennifer, the custody petition, the threat. She listened, face grave. When he finished, she spoke. I'll handle it. You can't handle this. It's family court. Watch me. I have the best lawyers in the state. No, this is my fight, and you'll lose. You can't afford representation. She'll bury you in motions and delays until you're broke. Then take Zoe by default. That's how people with money win, by outlasting people without it. The words stung because they were true. He knew the system, knew how it worked. Justice wasn't blind. It was expensive. I can't let you pay for this. Why not? Because then she's right. I'm only keeping Zoe because of your money. You're keeping Zoe because you're her father. Because you raised her alone for 7 years. Because you're what's best for her. Money doesn't change that. It just levels the playing field. He wanted to argue, wanted to maintain independence, but fear overrode pride. Fear of losing Zoe, fear of courts, fear of Jennifer's lawyers picking apart his life. Fine, but I pay you back, every cent. Marcus, every cent. Eventually. She nodded. Deal. That afternoon, Victoria's legal team descended. 3 attorneys, specialists in family law. They interviewed Marcus, took notes, reviewed the petition, asked hard questions. His fitness as a parent, his financial stability, his relationship with Zoe. He answered honestly, held nothing back. They seemed satisfied, confident. We'll file a response. Document your history as sole caregiver. Jennifer abandoned the child. That's strong, but be prepared. She'll attack your finances, your housing situation, your work history. Everything will be scrutinized. Let her try. We'll be ready. Days passed, the custody case loomed, but other problems multiplied. Someone leaked Victoria's private emails, messages between her and Marcus. Nothing romantic, just logistics, meeting schedules, fun discussions, but headlines spun it differently. Sterling CEO's secret relationship with Handyman. Is the Johnson Fund a love story billionaire's new boyfriend living in poverty? The implication was clear. Romance, scandal, impropriety, none of it true, all of it damaging. Victoria's board called an emergency meeting. Marcus heard about it through Rebecca. They're questioning her judgment, suggesting the fund is a personal project masquerading as philanthropy. What does that mean? It means they might shut it down before it even starts. Marcus felt sick. Families were counting on this. Applications had already come in. Single parents desperate for help. Now it might disappear because of him, because he'd saved someone, because he'd tried to do good. The universe punishing kindness. Again. He called Victoria. We need to talk. I know. Meet me. We're at my office, 1 hour. He drove across town, up to Sterling Tower. Security recognized him now, waved him through. He took the elevator. Top floor. Her office. She sat at her desk, looked tired, stressed, lines around her eyes that hadn't been there before. This is my fault. No, it's complicated. It's simple. You helped me. Now you're paying for it. I'm ending it. Ending what? My involvement. The advisory board, the project management, all of it. I walk away. This dies down. Your board backs off. The fund survives. You can't walk away. Watch me. Marcus, I'm serious. You've done enough, more than enough. I won't let you sacrifice your company for me. This isn't sacrifice. It's choosing what matters. The board doesn't control me. I control them. She stood, walked to the window, looked out at the city. I built this company from nothing. Slept in my car, ate ramen, worked until I collapsed. I earned every dollar, every square foot, every employee, and I'll be damned if I let them tell me who I can help. But they're right. This looks bad. So what? Since when do I care how things look, since your reputation affects hundreds of employees, thousands of stockholders? She turned, faced him. My reputation survived hostile takeovers, market crashes, smear campaigns from competitors. It'll survive this. Unless it doesn't. Then I rebuild. I've done it before. He shook his head. You're being reckless. I'm being human. There's a difference. She stepped closer. You showed me something important. That success means nothing if you can't use it to help others. I forgot that. Got lost in numbers and spreadsheets and quarterly reports. You reminded me why I started this company. To create opportunities. To lift people up. I won't forget again. Even if it costs me everything. Especially then. He wanted to argue, but her eyes held certainty. Conviction. She'd made her choice. Same way he'd made his that night in the storm. Jump into the fire or drive past. Some choices defined you. This was hers. Okay, I won't walk away. If you're willing to fight, so am I, she smiled. Genuine, warm, good. Because I need you for what? To keep me honest, to remind me what matters, to make sure this fund actually helps people. That's the job. That's what I'm paying you for. He returned her smile. 60,000 a year to be your conscience. Seems fair. The board meeting happened 3 days later. Victoria asked Marcus to attend, give testimony, explain the fund's mission, show them it wasn't personal. He agreed, wore the borrowed suit, walked into a conference room full of executives. Expensive suits, cold stares, skeptical faces. Victoria introduced him. This is Marcus Johnson, advisory board member, community liaison. The man who inspired this initiative. A board member spoke. Mr. Johnson, some of us question the optics of this situation. You saved Miss Sterling's life. She creates a fund bearing your name, pays you a substantial salary. Surely you can see how that appears. Appears like what? Like a personal relationship masquerading as philanthropy. Marcus leaned forward. Let me be clear. I don't have a personal relationship with Victoria Sterling. We're colleagues, nothing more. I opposed this fund initially, thought it was charity. She convinced me it was partnership. I'm here because single parents need help, not because I need a paycheck, though I won't pretend the money doesn't help. The board member continued. You also opposed her initial payment, then accepted employment. That seems contradictory. Not contradictory. Consistent. I opposed being bought, accepted being employed. Employment means work, compensation for effort. That's different than payment for silence or gratitude. Another board member spoke. The custody case. Your ex-wife claims you're using fund money for personal legal fees. That's a lie. Victoria's personal lawyers are helping, not fund resources. Can you prove that? Yes, Victoria interjected. I can provide documentation. My personal accounts, my personal attorneys, completely separate from foundation finances. The board conferred, whispered. Finally, the chairman spoke. Miss Sterling, we appreciate your passion, but this situation has become complicated, messy. Perhaps it's best to postpone the launch. Give things time to settle. Victoria stood. No, no, we're launching next week as planned. 20 families, real help, real impact. I won't delay because people are gossiping. But the press, let them write whatever they want. The work speaks for itself. Miss Sterling, we must consider, the chairman stopped as Victoria's expression hardened. Let me remind you something. I own 60% of this company. You serve at my pleasure. Hey, not the other way around. This fund moves forward, with or without board approval. But I'd prefer with. Silence, heavy, uncomfortable. Finally, the chairman nodded. Very well. We'll support the launch, but any hint of impropriety, any financial irregularity, we'll shut it down immediately. Understood. Meeting adjourned. People filed out. Marcus remained seated. That was intense. That was necessary. You just threatened your own board. I stated facts. There's a difference, but the risk. What if they're right? What if this blows up, then we deal with it? Together. He looked at her. Really looked. Saw strength, determination, vulnerability hidden beneath armor. Why are you doing this? Why risk so much? She sat, sighed. When I was 16, I lived in a van, stolen from a junkyard, no heat, no food, just me and rats. One night a man knocked on my window. I thought he'd rob me, kill me. Instead, he handed me a bag, sandwiches, water, a blanket, then left. No name, no explanation, just help. Her voice cracked. I never saw him again, never got to thank him. That moment kept me alive, gave me hope, taught me kindness exists even in darkness. You're that person now, Marcus. For how many others? I can't let board politics or media drama stop that. I won't. Understanding hit him. This wasn't about guilt, wasn't about paying back a rescue. This was about passing forward something she'd received, about breaking a cycle of indifference, about being the person she'd needed when she was lost. He got it now, really got it. Then let's make sure we do this right, together. They shook hands, partnership solidified, tested, stronger. The launch happened on schedule, small ceremony, 20 families, no press, private, meaningful. Marcus met them, single fathers, single mothers, People working hard, barely surviving, just needing a break. The fund gave it, first payments issued, rent assistance, childcare vouchers, job training enrollment, real help, tangible, immediate, faces lit up. Tears flowed, gratitude expressed. This was why, this moment, this impact, worth every headline, every scandal, every board meeting, worth everything. After the event, Victoria pulled Marcus aside. There's something else. What now, your custody hearing? It's in a week, I know. My lawyers have been digging. Jennifer's funding comes from someone, a benefactor, who she showed him documents. Financial trail, shell companies, eventually leading back to one name, Richard Brennan, CEO of Brennan Industries, Victoria's biggest competitor. He's funding Jennifer's custody case to hurt you, to create leverage. If he can force you to choose between the fund and your daughter, you'll choose Zoe. The fund collapses. I look reckless, distracted. He moves in. Hostile takeover. Marcus felt rage build. He's using my daughter as a business tactic. Yes. That's evil. Yes. What do? We fight. How? By winning the custody case. By exposing his involvement. By showing the court Jennifer's a puppet. Can we prove it? My investigators can. It'll take time. We have a week. Then we work fast. She pulled out her phone, made calls, set wheels in motion. Marcus watched, saw the CEO emerge. Strategic, ruthless when needed. Protective, fierce. She'd fight for him, for Zoe. Not because she had to, because she chose to. Because somewhere along the way, they'd become more than business partners. They'd become allies, maybe friends, maybe something else neither was ready to name. The week passed in a blur. Lawyers, depositions, evidence gathering. Marcus barely slept, worked, prepared, stressed. Zoe sensed something wrong. Are you okay, Daddy? Always? You keep saying that. It's always true, even when it's hard. Especially then. She hugged him. I love you. I love you more. Impossible. He smiled, held her tight, memorized the moment. Just in case. Court day arrived. Marcus wore his suit. Victoria sat in the gallery. Her lawyers flanked him. Jennifer entered with her attorney, expensive, slick, Brennan's money-buying talent. The judge entered, stern face, no-nonsense demeanor. Case called. Proceedings began. Jennifer's lawyer went first. Painted Marcus as unstable, financially irresponsible, barely employed until recently. Questioned his sudden income. Implied impropriety with Victoria. Suggested Zoe deserved better. A two-parent home. Stability. Resources. Marcus's lawyer countered. 7 years of sole custody. Perfect record. Zoe thriving. School reports. Teacher testimonials. Doctor records. Everything documented. Proof of love. Dedication. Sacrifice. Then the bombshell. They presented evidence of Brennan's involvement. Money trail, emails, proof Jennifer was being used. The judge's expression darkened. Is this true? Were you put up to this? Jennifer hesitated. Looked at her lawyer. No comment. The judge wasn't pleased. I'll ask again. Who's funding your legal representation? Jennifer's lawyer stood. Your Honor, that's privileged. It's relevant. I'm making it relevant. Answer the question. Jennifer squirmed. A friend. A friend paid $60,000 in legal fees. What kind of friend? Her lawyer whispered urgently. She shook her head. I can't say. Can't or won't, both. The judge made notes, looked at Marcus. Mr. Johnson, why do you think someone would fund this case? Marcus chose words carefully. I believe it's connected to my work with Victoria Sterling. Someone wants to create leverage to hurt her company by using my daughter. That's speculation. It's truth. The judge considered, then spoke. I'm ordering a recess, 2 weeks, during which I'll have investigators look into these allegations. If I find evidence of third-party manipulation, this case will be dismissed. If not, we'll proceed. Court adjourned. Gavel fell. Marcus exhaled. Relief. Temporary, but real. Victoria met him outside. You did well. So did your lawyers. They're good at their DOS, worth every penny. He smiled. Every penny I'll eventually pay back. She laughed. Keep telling yourself that. I will. They walked to the parking lot. Zoe waited with Rebecca, saw Marcus, ran over. How'd it go, Daddy? Good, really good. We won. Not yet, but we're winning. She hugged him. I knew you would. That night, Marcus couldn't sleep. Lay on his couch, stared at ceiling, processing everything that had happened. 3 weeks since the launch. 3 weeks of case, reporters, lawyers, scandals, custody battles, Jennifer, Brennan, attacks from all sides, but also support. Victoria, her team, the families helped by the fund, community rallying, people understanding, more good than bad, mostly. He thought about Victoria, how she'd stood up to her board, risked her company, fought his battles, asked nothing in return. She'd become important, not just employer, not just colleague, something more, something undefined, something that scared him because it felt big. His phone buzzed. Text from Victoria. Can't sleep either. He replied. Too much in my head. Same. Coffee tomorrow before work. Sure. She sent a location. Small place. Not fancy. Just coffee. He smiled. Type back. See you there. Put phone down. Maybe he could sleep now. Maybe not. Either way, tomorrow meant continuation. Fighting, building, surviving. Together, they were stronger. Apart, they'd both struggled. Together, they had a chance. At what he didn't know yet, but something. Something worth protecting, worth fighting for, worth whatever came next. 6 months after the custody hearing, Marcus turned the key in a new lock. His door, his business. Johnson Mechanics sat on a corner lot in his neighborhood. Small storefront, 2 garage bays, office space. Nothing fancy, but real. Legitimate. His name on the sign, his dream made solid. The court had ruled in his favor. Jennifer's case dismissed. Brennan's involvement exposed. Sanctions issued. She disappeared after that. No appeals, no contact. Gone like she'd never returned. Zoe never asked about her. Some absences were blessings. The shop had been Victoria's idea, not charity this time. Investment. She'd explained it over coffee one morning. You're skilled, underemployed. This neighborhood needs reliable repair. Let me fund the startup. You pay me back from profits. Partnership. He'd resisted initially. Old instincts. But she'd worn him down with logic, with spreadsheets, with projections showing viability. Eventually he'd agreed, signed papers, became a business owner. The American dream on a payment plan. Now he stood in his empty shop, smelled fresh paint, concrete, motor oil possibility, tools hung on pegboards, lift installed, computer system for invoices. Everything he needed, everything he'd wanted. His phone rang. Victoria, how's it feel? Like I'm dreaming. Better get used to it. This is reality now, he smiled. Thanks to you, thanks to us. There's a difference, he understood. Partnership, collaboration, 2 people building something bigger than either could alone. I'm opening tomorrow, I know. I'll be there. You don't have to, I want to. She showed up at 7 a.m. White shirt, jeans, hair down, not CEO Victoria, just Victoria. Relaxed, real, beautiful in simplicity. His chest tightened seeing her. 6 months of working together, meeting weekly, building the fund, fighting battles. Somewhere in the chaos, something had shifted. Friendship deepened. Boundaries blurred. Neither acknowledged it, both felt it. She handed him coffee. Thought you could use this. You thought right. They stood together, watching the sun rise over the shop. First day, new beginning. You nervous? Terrified. Good. Means you care. I care too much. No such thing. His first customer arrived at 8. Mrs. Chen, her old sedan making terrible noises. Marcus lifted the hood, diagnosed the problem. Serpentine belt, simple fix. He explained the repair, quoted fair price. She nodded, grateful, trusting. He worked. Victoria watched, learned, saw him in his element, capable, confident, expert, different from the man in board meetings, more authentic. This was who he was: grease under fingernails, problem solver, community anchor. She admired that, admired him. The day passed, 5 customers, small jobs, modest income, but income, legitimate, growing. By closing time, Marcus was exhausted, happy, fulfilled. Victoria helped him lock up, wipe down counters, turn off lights. They walked to their cars, his truck, her sedan, not the luxury car from the crash. Something simpler now, more practical. She changed too, softened, opened. Thanks for being here today. Where else would I be anywhere? Running an empire. The empire runs itself mostly. Plus, this was more important. Because watching you succeed matters more than another quarterly report. The words hung between them, heavy with meaning. He wanted to respond, say something profound. But Zoe appeared, ran from Mrs. Patterson's house. Daddy, how was the first day amazing? Did you fix lots of cars, 5? That's so many, not really. But it's a start. Zoe hugged him, then turned to Victoria. Are you coming for dinner, Zoe? It's okay. I'd love to. Really, really? Victoria smiled. If your dad doesn't mind. He didn't mind, couldn't mind. Zoe had already decided. They drove separately, met at his house. Inside, Marcus cooked. Simple meal, pasta, salad, garlic bread. Victoria set the table. Zoe talked nonstop. About school, friends, dreams. They ate together, natural. Easy, like family. The thought scared him, thrilled him, confused him. After dinner, Zoe did homework. Marcus and Victoria sat on the porch, night air cool, stars visible beyond city lights. This is nice. What, this? Simple dinner, normal evening. You miss normal. I never had normal. Built a company instead. Skipped the life part. Not too late, maybe. She looked at him. I envy you sometimes. Me? Why you have this? She gestured inside where Zoe worked. Purpose, connection, something real. You have that too. The fund, the company. Not the same. Money can't buy what you have with Zoe. No, it can't. Silence settled. Comfortable. Marcus thought about the past 6 months. How Victoria had become constant, reliable, present, not just funding his dreams, sharing them, celebrating victories, weathering storms, partners, friends, something more waiting beneath surface. Neither brave enough to name it. Yet, you should go, it's late, I should. She didn't move. Neither did he. Victoria, yeah, thank you. For what? For seeing me, not just what I can provide, who I am. I see you too, I know, that's why this matters. She left. He watched her drive away, stood on the porch, processing, feeling, wanting. 3 months later, the shop was thriving. Regular customers, word of mouth spreading, reliable, affordable, honest. Marcus's reputation growing. He hired help, a young mechanic named Carlos. Good kid, hard worker, learning fast. The business expanded, not explosive growth, steady, sustainable, real. Victoria visited often, sometimes for business, board meetings, fund updates, sometimes for coffee, conversation, connection. They never discussed what was happening. The gradual intertwining, the inevitable pull, just let it unfold. Natural, terrifying. Right. The Johnson Fund had grown too. 50 families now. Success stories emerging. Single parents finding stability, getting promotions, buying homes, sending kids to college. Real impact. Measurable. Marcus attended every board meeting, reviewed every application, kept Victoria honest, kept the mission pure. They made a good team, complementary, balanced. She provided resources. He provided grounding. Together they built something that mattered, something that lasted, something that changed lives, including their own. One evening, Marcus decided, time to stop pretending, stop hiding, stop being afraid. He bought flowers, nothing expensive, just flowers, planned words, rehearsed them, drove to her penthouse, knocked. She answered, surprised, pleased. What's this? Can I come in? Of course. He entered, noticed how empty it felt, expensive, sterile. Unlived. She'd mentioned that once, how she worked too much. Came home to sleep, nothing more. He handed her the flowers. These are for you. They're beautiful. Why? Because I wanted to say something, and I needed courage. Flowers give courage, apparently, she smiled. Set them down, waited. He took a breath. Victoria, these past months have been, I care about you. I know the feeling scared him more than any custody battle, any scandal, any risk. This was personal, vulnerable, exposing. She stepped closer. I care about you too, as friends. Is that what we are? I don't know what we are. Me neither. But I know what I want us to be. What's that more? Her eyes held his, searching, finding. More sounds complicated. Everything with us is complicated. True, does that scare you? Terrifies me. Good, me too. She kissed him, soft, tentative, testing. He kissed back, deeper, certain. Months of tension released, feelings acknowledged, line crossed. When they pulled apart, both were breathless. That was overdue. Very. What now? Now we figure it out. Together, together. He smiled, stayed for hours, talking, kissing, planning. Nothing rushed, everything intentional. Building foundation, starting something real. Something that couldn't be bought, only earned. Through time, trust, truth. When he finally left, dawn approached. He drove home, grinning, terrified, alive. Zoe noticed immediately. You're happy. I'm always happy. Different happy, shiny, shiny like you glow, he laughed. Maybe I do. Is it because of Victoria? Maybe. Do you love her? The question stunned him. I think I might. That's good. She's nice. And she looks at you like pancakes. We've established this. It's still true. He kissed her head. You're too smart. I know. What should I do about it? About being smart, about Victoria? Tell her. Simple as that. Simple as that. 2 months passed. Relationship deepened. Slowly, carefully, respecting boundaries, considering Zoe, making sure everyone was comfortable. Victoria spent more time at the house. Dinners, movies, homework help, becoming part of their lives, not replacing anything, adding, enriching. Zoe adored her. Marcus loved watching them together. His daughter, his woman, his family forming. Different from traditional. Better because it was chosen. Built deliberately, with care. Marcus decided to propose. Bought a ring, simple, affordable, meaningful, planned perfect moment, dinner, walk, moonlight, speech prepared, ring ready. Then Victoria ruined everything. In the best way. They were at the shop. After hours, he was finishing paperwork. She was sitting on his desk, swinging her legs, quiet, contemplative. Marcus, yeah, I have something for you, now. Now, she handed him an envelope. Cream-colored, sealed. What does this? Open it tomorrow? Why not now? Because I need you to really think about it. About what? Just promise you'll read it, tomorrow. He promised, took the envelope. Heavy, important. She kissed him. Left. Mysterious. Nervous. Gone. That night, Marcus stared at the envelope. Curiosity burning. But he'd promised. Tomorrow. He put it on the nightstand, tried to sleep. Failed. Morning took forever. Finally, dawn came. He made coffee, sat at the table, opened the envelope. Inside was a card, handwritten, her elegant script. He read, Marcus, you saved my life in a storm. But you did more than that. You saved me from becoming someone I hated. Someone who measured worth in dollars. Someone who forgot where she came from. Someone who stopped believing in goodness. He continued reading. I was 16, homeless, living in a stolen van, not much bigger than your truck. Same color, actually. Same dented fender. When I saw your truck that night in the storm, something clicked. Recognition. Memory. That van kept me alive. Gave me shelter when I had nothing. Your truck saved me again. Full circle. He felt his throat tighten. More words. You reminded me that kindness is the greatest currency. That honor matters more than wealth. That love is built on respect, not transaction. You taught your daughter those values. Now you've taught me. I can't imagine life without you. Without Zoe, without the man who threw my money back because integrity mattered more. His hand shook. Final paragraph. I'm not asking because I owe you, I'm asking because I choose you. Every day, every moment. Will you marry me? The card fell from his fingers. Marriage, proposal, from her to him, reversing expectations, breaking norms, perfect. He laughed, cried, both. She'd beaten him to it, proposed first, asked him. The ring in his drawer suddenly irrelevant, funny, beautiful. Right, second page. He picked it up. An invitation, already printed. The wedding of Victoria Sterling and Marcus Johnson. Date set, venue chosen. She'd planned everything. Assumed yes, confident, presumptuous, exactly like her. He called. She answered immediately. Well, his voice cracked. You didn't even let me propose. I know. Terrible of me, completely. But, but yes, yes, yes. I'll marry you, she screamed. Actually screamed, he laughed. Heard her crying, happy tears. When? Whenever you want. How about the date on the invitation? Pretty sure of yourself, hopeful. Big difference, he smiled. 6 months. That's the date. Yes, I'll be there. You better be, I love you. The words surprised him, first time saying them, feeling them, meaning them. Silence, then her voice, soft, broken. Beautiful. I love you too. Have for months. Me too. We're idiots. The best kind. They planned together. Simple ceremony, close friends, family, nothing elaborate, nothing performative. Just commitment. Public. Witnessed. Real. Zoe was involved every step. Choosing flowers, tasting cake, picking her dress. She took it seriously. This wasn't just her father marrying. This was gaining a mother, someone who chose her, wanted her, loved her. The difference mattered. Blood didn't make family, choice did. Zoe understood, embraced it, celebrated it. 6 months passed, faster than expected, slower than desired. Finally the day arrived. Small chapel, afternoon light through stained glass. 50 guests. Marcus stood at the altar, Carlos beside him. Best man, unexpected friendship. Born from business, grown into brotherhood. Music played, doors opened. Victoria appeared. White dress, simple, elegant, stunning. But Marcus barely noticed. His eyes found Zoe, walking beside Victoria and holding her hand. White dress matching, braids decorated with small flowers, smiling, radiant, perfect. They walked together, Victoria and Zoe, his future, his family, his everything. They reached the altar. Zoe stood between them. Deliberate placement. She wasn't just watching, she was participating, part of the union. The officiant spoke. Marriage is sacred, not just between two people, but between all who love each other. Today we witness three hearts joining, Marcus, Victoria, Zoe, family formed by choice, by love, by commitment. He continued, do you, Marcus, take Victoria to be your wife, to honor, to cherish, to partner with in all things? Marcus looked at her, saw past the dress, the makeup, the ceremony, saw the woman who'd fought for him, believed in him, chosen him. I do. Do you, Victoria, take Marcus to be your husband, to honor, to cherish, to partner with in all things? She looked at him, eyes wet, shining, full of everything they'd survived, everything they'd built, everything they'd become. I do, forever. The officiant smiled. And do you, Zoe, accept Victoria as your mother? Accept Marcus as your father? Accept this family as yours? Zoe nodded, serious, certain, I do. Love it. The officiant had to pause, compose himself. Then you are family, Marcus and Victoria, Zoe, together, bound by love, sealed by commitment. You may kiss. They did. But first Zoe hugged them both. Group embrace, family forming, solidifying, real. Then Marcus kissed Victoria, deep, full, promise made physical. Guests cheered, cried, celebrated. The ceremony ended, reception began. Dancing, laughter. Marcus and Victoria's first dance. Slow, close, perfect. Then Zoe joined. 3 dancing, swaying, family. Later, Victoria gave Marcus a small box, wedding gift. Inside was a key. What's this? The key to my truck. The one from that night. He stared. You kept it, I restored it. Fixed everything. It runs now, better than new. She smiled. Some things are worth keeping. Like us. Especially us. The night ended. They went home. Not Marcus's small house, not Victoria's empty penthouse. A new place. Bought together. Big enough for 3. Filled with love. Potential. Future. They tucked Zoe in. Her new room. Her new home. Her new life. She hugged them both. I'm happy. We're happy too. The happiest. She yawned. Sleep taking over. One last whisper. You saved each other, then sleep. Marcus and Victoria stood, looked at their daughter, their family, their miracle. She's right. About we did save each other. From what? From being alone. From forgetting what matters. From living half lives. He pulled her close. Best rescue ever. Agreed. 5 years later. Convention Center. Johnson Fund 5th Anniversary Gala. 500 families helped. Thousands of lives changed. Success beyond imagination. Impact beyond measurement. Marcus stood backstage. Suit fitting better now. Comfort earned through repetition. Victoria beside him. Still beautiful. More so with time. Lines around her eyes from laughing. Gray hair she refused to dye. Authentic. Real. I'd gracefully because happiness aged you well. They'd built something. Not just the fund. A life. Marriage. Partnership. Family. Zoe was 12 now. Poised. Confident. Smart. Everything they'd hoped. Tonight she'd speak. Her idea, her words, her story. Marcus was nervous. Proud. Terrified. She can do this. I know. Still nervous. She's your daughter. Exactly. Which means she's brilliant. Also exactly. Music played. Introductions made. Then Zoe walked on stage. Yellow dress. Braids neat. Confident stride. The crowd quieted. She reached the microphone, adjusted it, smiled. 5 years ago, my dad saved someone's life. Pulled her from a burning car. Didn't ask for anything. Just did what was right. Applause. She continued. That someone was Victoria Sterling, now Victoria Johnson. My mom. More applause, louder. Zoe waited, then spoke again. But here's what people don't know. She saved him too. Not from fire, from drowning, in struggle, in poverty, in isolation. They saved each other. Silence. Complete. Everyone listening, hanging on every word. This fund exists because 2 people chose kindness over transaction, partnership over profit, love over logic. Her voice grew stronger. 500 families have been helped. But really, one family helped 500 more. Because when you save someone, you don't just change their life. You change everyone they touch, everyone they help, everyone they inspire. It ripples out, endless, infinite. She looked at Marcus and Victoria in the wings. My dad taught me integrity can't be bought. My mom taught me success means nothing without purpose. Together, they taught me love is choosing someone every day, fighting for them, building with them, growing with them. That's what this fund is. 500 examples of people choosing each other, helping each other, saving each other. She paused. Final thought. People ask what makes a hero. I think it's simple. Heroes see someone drowning and jump in. Not because they have to, because they can't not. My parents are heroes. Not because they're perfect, because they're present, because they chose each other, because they chose me, because they keep choosing every day, every moment. That's heroism. That's love. That's family. Standing ovation, immediate, thunderous. Zoe smiled, walked off stage, into Marcus and Victoria's arms. They held her, cried, laughed, overwhelmed, proud beyond words. She'd captured everything. Distilled years into minutes, complexity into clarity, truth into simplicity. The gala continued, speeches, awards, celebrations. But nothing topped Zoe's words. Nothing came close. Later driving home, they were quiet, content, full. Zoe asleep in back seat. Marcus drove, Victoria's hand in his. He thought about the storm, the fire, the moment that changed everything. One decision, one action, rippling out into this. Family, purpose, impact, legacy. What are you thinking that night? The storm. What if I'd driven past, you didn't? But what if then someone else would have stopped? You think I know? Because kindness exists everywhere. You just reminded me to look for it. He smiled. We got lucky. Lucky that our paths crossed, that the storm happened, that everything aligned. Not luck. She squeezed his hand. Fate. Destiny. Whatever you want to call it. We were meant to find each other. You believe that I believe we choose what we're meant for. And I choose this. Every day, every moment. Me too. Always. They arrived home, carried Zoe inside, tucked her in, stood in the doorway, watching her sleep. Their daughter, their miracle, their reason. Everything they'd built started with one moment, one choice, one act of decency. From that spark, a fire, warming hundreds, lighting thousands, endless ripples, infinite impact. Marcus and Victoria walked to their room, lay in bed, held each other. Tomorrow would bring challenges, always did, but together they could face anything. Together they were stronger. Together they were complete. The storm that brought them together had long passed, but the warmth remained, growing, spreading, touching everyone they met, everyone they helped, everyone who learned from their story. Sometimes kindness saves a life. Sometimes it saves two. Sometimes it saves 500. Sometimes it saves the world. One person at a time, one choice at a time, one moment at a time. That was the real legacy, not money, not buildings, not even the fund, just love, multiplied, infinite, eternal.